Most men who want to disappear and transform themselves never do it. Not because they lack the desire, because they keep waiting for the right moment while the wrong version of them keeps making decisions. You already know this is not working. The situation you are holding on to, the version of yourself you are still defending. You know, and every day you do not act on that knowledge is a day it costs you more. This is not about trying harder. It is about personal growth through a complete reinvention. Men who have done it do not look like who they were. They disappeared and came back unrecognizable. That transformation is built on a system of Stoic discipline, ancient wisdom that has pulled men out of war, exile, and total collapse for 2,300 years. This video is that system. Most men spend years trying to fix a version of themselves that cannot be fixed. They push harder. They explain more. They wait. None of it works because the problem is not effort. It is identity. The men who successfully disappear and transform themselves do not fix who they are. They replace who they were completely, using a system of Stoic discipline that has existed for 2,300 years. 5 chapters. Each one a step in the process of personal growth through total reinvention. No motivation, no theory. A system that works when you put in the work. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. Every one of them disappeared into silence and returned unrecognizable. That is not coincidence. That is the system. Chapter 1. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while carrying war, plague, and betrayal simultaneously. He did not preserve who he was. He buried that man repeatedly and rebuilt from what remained. That is Stoic discipline in its purest form. The Stoic philosophy is built on one truth most men never accept. Identity is not permanent. It is a position, and a position that is destroying your future must be abandoned without ceremony and without explanation. Epictetus was born a slave. He did not negotiate with that identity. He dissolved it completely and rebuilt himself into one of the most powerful minds in ancient wisdom. The old man had to die first. Right now, you are carrying a version of yourself built for a different life. Old decisions, old failures, old patterns you have stitched into your identity like they define you. They do not define you. They expired. You keep wearing them anyway. You keep explaining them. You keep trying to repair a man who needs to be replaced. That is not loyalty to yourself. That is fear of the reinvention you already know is necessary. The transformation does not begin with action. It begins with a decision. You are not fixing who you are. You are ending him. Quietly, deliberately, with zero announcement to the world still watching the old version. Chapter 2. Retire into yourself as much as possible. Seneca. Seneca wrote from exile. Stripped of his position, his wealth, and his influence, he did not fight the disappearance. He used it. He went inward and returned with the clearest thinking of his life. The Stoic framework demands one non-negotiable foundation. You control nothing outside yourself. When a man accepts this completely, he stops broadcasting and starts building. Silence becomes the strategy. Marcus Aurelius kept a private journal for years, not for publication, not for recognition, for himself alone. He disappeared into his own mind daily and did the work where no one could see it. That discipline built an emperor. Going dark means stopping the performance. No updates, no explanations, no public processing of your transformation. The man who announces his reinvention to the world rarely completes it. Delete what needs to be deleted. Exit what needs to be exited. Stop being available to everyone who only knew the old version of you. This is not hiding. This is operating on a different frequency with a different destination. The world will notice your absence before it notices your return. That discomfort belongs to them. Your only obligation right now is the work happening in the silence, where no one can see it and no one can interrupt it. Chapter 3. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason, which today arm you against the present. Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics called it the dichotomy of control. What is in your power and what is not? The man who cannot distinguish between the two will pour every resource he has, his time, his money, his mental strength, into situations that will never return what he invested. That is not perseverance. That is self-destruction dressed as loyalty. Epictetus taught that suffering is not caused by events. It is caused by the refusal to release what was never yours to control. The failed investment, the dead partnership, the situation that has taken more than it will ever give back. Cut it. A Roman general who refused to retreat when retreat was the correct move did not display courage. He displayed ego. And ego applied to the wrong situation has ended more men than any external enemy ever has. Self-mastery begins the moment you choose logic over pride. You know what cannot be fixed. You have known longer than you will admit. The problem is not knowledge. The problem is that cutting it feels like confirming the failure. It does not. It confirms the decision. And decisions made from clarity are the foundation of every personal growth journey that actually produces results. Every day you stay inside a dead situation is a day your future decisions are being contaminated. Fear does not stay contained. It spreads. It infects your confidence, your judgment, and your ability to act on real data instead of emotion. Cut it clean, not with anger, not with explanation, with the composure of a man who has chosen self-mastery over the need to be right. That cut is not the end. It is the first real move of the transformation. Chapter 4. Silence is a lesson learned from the many sufferings of life. Seneca. The Stoics did not speak about becoming. They became. Stoic discipline was never a philosophy discussed at dinner tables. It was a daily practice executed in private, measured only by the quality of decisions made under pressure when no one was watching. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself every morning, not about what he wanted to achieve, about who he intended to be that day. The ancient wisdom in that practice is this: the building happens before the world makes its demands, not in response to them. Seneca warned against the man who lives for the approval of others. That man builds nothing lasting because he is always constructing for an audience instead of constructing for himself. Personal growth built for public consumption collapses the moment the audience looks away. The rebuild belongs to no one else. No timeline, no milestones to post, no progress to perform. The work is the proof, and the proof reveals itself when it is ready. This is where most men fail the transformation. They cannot tolerate the silence long enough to let the discipline accumulate. They surface too early and return as the same man with a new story and a different haircut. Build your body. Build your mind. Build your finances. Build your standards every single day, in private, with zero need for acknowledgement from a world that has not yet seen what is coming. The man who disappears into that silence and stays there long enough that man does not return the same. He returns unrecognizable. And that was always the goal. Chapter 5. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics did not seek comfort on the other side of hardship. They sought capability. A man forged through deliberate disappearance and disciplined rebuilding does not return looking for validation. He returns operating at a level that requires none. Epictetus said that circumstances do not make the man, they reveal him. The man who chose his circumstances, chose the silence, chose the cut, chose the rebuild, is revealed as something the world was not prepared for. That is not luck. That is the result of Stoic discipline applied without compromise. This is what ancient wisdom understood that the modern world has forgotten. Transformation is not an event. It is the accumulated result of decisions made in private when comfort was available and discipline was chosen instead. Every time, without exception, the man who returns is not louder. He is not more visible. He does not need to announce what happened in the silence. The results make the announcement for him. His personal growth is not a story he tells. It is a standard people feel the moment he enters the room. The people who watched him struggle will not understand what they are looking at. That is not his problem. His only obligation is to the standard he built for himself during the disappearance. He is unrecognizable, not because he changed everything around him, because he changed the man making the decisions. That man is built on a foundation of Stoic discipline now. And nothing that broke the old version can touch this one. That is the transformation. That is the system. And it is available to every man willing to disappear long enough to complete it. You already know what has to happen. You have known for longer than you will admit. The version of you that exists right now has been costing you more than you are willing to calculate. That stops today. Go dark. Cut what cannot be fixed. Build in silence. Return as the man you were always capable of being, but never gave yourself the conditions to become. This is not motivation. Motivation fades the moment life applies pressure. This is a system of Stoic discipline built by men who faced exile, slavery, and war, and came out the other side unrecognizable. That system is yours right now. The only question left is whether you disappear long enough to let it work. The battlefield has changed. The Stoic mindset has not. The man who understands that is already ahead of every man still waiting for the right moment. There is no right moment. There is only the decision. Make it. If this hit where it was supposed to hit, subscribe. Every video on this channel starts where you are and delivers the system that moves you forward. No theory, no hand-holding, direct application to your life. Stoic HQ. Life is war, no man left behind.